2020 has offered many challenges, particularly for those living with disability. Bushfires and the pandemic have made life difficult for these Victorians. Here are three of their stories.
My name's Mark Oakley and we're at Dirty Hollow Creek, Wisely, 20 kilometres east of Bairnsdale.
Ever since we moved out to this block, we've been aware that bushfires are going to be there for us, and that every year we prepare for it. And this year it was different. First a big plume, then all the birds out of the bush started hanging around the back door and squawking and making a noise. We just felt and knew it was time to go. So we packed up our stuff, and a few hours later everything was gone. It just blew through there from the south and melted everything to the ground, apart from our solar system and batteries, which survived.
30 years ago or so, I got Barmah Forest virus, Ross River virus, which gave me fibromyalgia. I had a bit of spinal damage on my neck, upper neck, and some sort of growth in my spine at the bottom, emphysema, and just had a heart attack a couple of years ago.
Mark's challenges are that the access into the caravan is quite difficult, and showering in the caravan and going to the toilet and things like that is quite difficult. When the bushfires first happened and we come back and decided that we wanted to live on the block, we did ask if there were any services out there that could provide us with a portable shower toilet unit. We're into the 8th month now and still no sign of a shower or toilet block.
We've been very fortunate that we've been donated a shed by the Red Gun Church in Bairnsdale. Because of all this red tape and all the hoops you got to jump through and all the paperwork you got to do, help from the disability services, we haven't had any. I cannot see why the government organisations couldn't have actually helped us more with Mark's situation.
Psychologically, getting back to my place was a big thing. I just wanted to be back there and give me peace of mind one way or another. And then after that, the amount of paperwork and phone calls and meetings and things becomes confusing as to what you're supposed to actually be doing, and the actual personal need seems to be overrun with furniture and clothes and things. I need a toilet that I can sit down on properly, and a shower that if I fall over I won't break through the glass, or that Jane can wash me and help me. Not getting those facilities makes it rather difficult and a bit more dangerous for me, so I don't shower as much.
COVID has made it a lot more difficult. When the pandemic started, we were living at the caravan park with my mum in her little unit down there, and we weren't quite ready to leave there and go back to the caravan. We hadn't set up a few little things that would make life easy. And then the pandemic started, and then the owners of the caravan park said that we would no longer be able to stay at the caravan park because we weren't a permanent resident, so we had to move into the caravan, and we just had to cope the best way we could. Mark wants to see his last days there eventually, and that's his wish, so that's why we would like to rebuild again.
We're connected to it, and I just can't let it go. We can't let it go.
Tim Chan has been in lockdown with his mother Sarah in Melbourne.
My brand of autism means that I am dealing with a body that is not always in sync with my intentions, so it is very challenging to go through daily life. The pandemic has brought unprecedented changes to routines, on which I rely heavily to manage my constant anxiety, which has skyrocketed. So life is difficult because I miss the connection with people. I suppose this is true for each person, with or without disability. However, because I use non-conventional communication, assisted typing, it's not easy to connect, as it takes trained facilitators with whom I have a personal relationship before I can output typing. So I am feeling especially alone and vulnerable.
My name is Sarah Chan. I have a son, Tim, who has severe autism. And we've been in lockdown, which is having an impact on us, and support workers are not really able to maintain their presence in Tim's life. So it's been quite hard for all of us.
My support workers are my friends as well, because they facilitate my type-to-talk communication. It has been lonely. My mum, who I live with, has to take on all the care and supervision of my daily routines and activities. Because she has been without any respite or support, this is taking a heavy toll. Both lack of sleep and anxiety have been the cause of more seizures. I am also afraid of hurting Mum or myself when I have fits, in case I fall onto her, or when she has to physically keep me from falling.
Tim's 25 at the moment. He was diagnosed with autism at the age of 3. He is a non-speaker. He never really achieved speech, despite a lot of early intervention. He's very dependent on me, as you can see, especially in the present condition. He needs that one-to-one supervision and attention, support at all times. So I'm sort of pretty much a full-time parent, very full-time parent.
Diversity. I think people can be educated to be more aware of differences in neurodiversity. Government has been very ableist in their thinking. They should include disability voices. Find alternatives to incorporate our perspective and listen to us from different viewpoints.
During lockdown, it's very hard to connect with people in face-to-face situations, but hopefully when the pandemic ends, community groups and organizations can provide opportunities for people with disability to come together. And I think it's very important to talk about your experiences with other people who have experienced pretty much similar things. We've become very resilient. COVID-19 is something that we need to go through, of course. But I think with all the experiences of the past, it's built us up, to do that.
James Griffiths has found life in 2020 increasingly isolating.
My name is James Griffiths. I live in Sale, Gippsland, Victoria. Volunteering is my everything. It gives me something to strive for, and it gives me happiness. It's food for my soul. The bushfires and this pandemic has made me feel pretty useless. I'm trapped in a black box. Staying at home now, I'm stuck in 4 walls in a black box. Can't get out, can't do the things that I'd want to do. Today for this interview, this is the first time I've been out of the house in a couple of weeks. A little known fact about myself is I'm a double transplant recipient. Being immunosuppressed, I've got to be very careful on where I go, what I do, how I touch things. During this pandemic, I've noticed there's been a reduction in services. Where I used to be able to walk into my local council and find out information, most times now, it's all over the phone or it's all via Zoom. All this new technology I've got to learn. It's not impossible, but it's really, really hard considering being blind and not knowing much about technology in the first place, and then having to try and learn the new technology to gain the services that you need. So I'm feeling right now that having a disability, I'm left right out of the loop. Facebook, for example, there might be a picture that's been put into a post. Then on my screen reader, I can't read that because it just says picture may contain text. Not all those things are completely accessible. And it almost seems like it's a hassle for a lot of organisations to do it, and they get frustrated, but it shouldn't be an afterthought. It should be the first thing that they think of. How can we make this information accessible to everybody? Every day I hear there's been 300 new cases in Victoria. There's been 12 more deaths. There's every day. And it makes me wonder, if I go out, am I going to be the next one of these 300 new people with COVID? Everybody's asking, we want to hear from you, we want to hear from you. My message to change makers is, get your head out of the sand. There's a lot more that's happening out there. You just need to look for it. Don't forget us.